All right, guys, here we go. Algebra 1, we are in section 6 today, and this is actually going to be the last section of the chapter for us. Yes, I know there is a 7th section, but we're skipping it. It will not be on your test, so don't worry about that. Okay, so that would mean that we are officially ending chapter 5 in this video. All right, so we're talking about slope-intercept form, but we've been talking about slope-intercept form. All right, we talk about it in class, we talk about it in previous notes, so that means we should be able to totally understand this. And if not, you get one more section right here in this section to understand slope-intercept form. All right, so here we go. You all know this by now. As the note says, it's been presented, it's been discussed. You've seen a lot of example problems, both in videos as well as in class. So here's another very quick overview, just as you can see on the screen right there. Y equals mx plus b. There it is. That is slope-intercept form. Y-intercept goes with b. And our m is really slope, which is the same thing as rise over run. Now, that I'm sure you all remember, but key steps are to remember that the y-intercept goes first. What do I mean by goes first? That means that is what you are actually graphing first, is the y-intercept. So that's this b value. That goes first. Graph that, and then from the y-intercept, then you are using the slope. All of that. That's what goes second after that. Okay. Now, if the equation is not given as y equals, just like this says right here, y equals, then you need to change it. You need to isolate the y variable. That's this part right here. Get y alone. Once y is isolated and by itself, then you are able to proceed and actually do slope-intercept format. Okay? All right, let's do some example problems. Now, they start out pretty easy here. Identify the slope, identify the y-intercept. That's super easy when the equation is already y equals, just like this first one for a is. So y equals 5x minus 3. You guys know the format. Here it is, y equals mx plus b. There's your slope, there's your y-intercept. So that means that this guy right here, this is slope. And all of this right here is the y-intercept. Make sure that you understand that it's -3 for the y-intercept. Okay, so it's not just 3, it includes that negative sign. And 5 is the slope. Just in case if you're getting confused and you write 5 over 1, that's still correct. That still is a proper slope. All right, let's take a look at part B here, where we're asked the same thing. What's the slope? What's the y-intercept? But it does not say y equals. So you need to rearrange some terms. Okay, let's do that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the 3x and move it over. That's going to leave us now with a -3y equals a -3x plus 12. Remember, when you move across an equal sign, you change the sign on the number. So it was a positive 3x, but I moved across the equal sign. Now it becomes a -3x. And then we need to isolate y. So we're going to need to divide by -3, but everything will then need to be divided by -3. What you do to one term, you do to all terms. So that allows us to cross this out, leaving y by itself. -3 divided by -3 is simply 1, and 12 divided by -3 becomes -4. Now the equation is set up as y equals, and now we can proceed and figure out what my slope is. So this right here is my slope, and this right here is my y-intercept. All right, so that one is now done right there. Let's move on to part C, where again, notice that y is not by itself. So we need to move things around. Let's take the x, move it to the opposite side. And remember, when you move it, that means we now have to do the opposite of what it started out as. It started as a positive x. We move it, it becomes a negative x. So now I have 4y equals negative x plus 6. All right, the 6 was a positive, didn't move it, so it stays a positive just like that. And now we need to isolate the y, which means we need to divide every term by the 4. That's the coefficient with the y. That allows us now to cross this out. So y is going to be by itself. Now I see a negative x over 4. That is the exact same thing as negative 1/4 x. And 6 over 4 can be reduced. It won't work out perfectly, but it can be reduced to 3 over 2. You always have to remember to reduce your fractions. If you can reduce, you need to reduce it. All right, now what we have right here, this is the slope. And then right here, this is my y-intercept. All right, that covers all of that. Let's move down. Now we got a couple graphing problems here. So now we're going to graph the first one. It's already set up very nicely as slope-intercept format. Okay, so let's do this. The first thing right here, this is my y-intercept. So it's a positive 4, so let's go up 4 times. You always start, remember, at 0, 0, which is the origin. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our dot. Now that is where we're at. We're at the y-intercept, and now we need to use our slope. Don't forget, it's always rise over run. So I'm going to go ahead and put that over 1. Now, negative 2 means go down 2. Positive 1 means go to the right 1. So we go 1, 2, and then right 1. There's our dot. 2 dots will make a line. Connect these lines right there. All right, perfect. That's our line. That's going to be the line created from that specific equation. All right, let's move on. Let's do the next one here. Now you'll notice that x and y are on the same side, and I need to move things around. I want to get y by itself. But what I want you to see is that this is a negative y. And if I move y, then it'll become a positive. That's going to actually help us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the y over here, and I'm going to take that 1 and I'm going to move it right there. So let's rearrange everything. The 3x did not move. The 1 moved across the equal sign. It now becomes negative 1. The y moved to the other side, so it now becomes a positive y. All right, so now here we go. Right here, I have a 3 over 1. This is my slope. And then I have a negative 1, which is my y-intercept. All right, so a negative 1 y-intercept. Go down 1. So down 1. There's my y-intercept. My slope is a positive 3, which means now I go up 3 and then over 1, so I go to the right 1. So go up 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's go against that. Sorry. We go up 1, 2, 3, then right 1. That's where the dot should really be, right there. 2 dots, connect the dots, and that's going to give us our line. And there we go. That is how you would graph the original equation, which was 3x minus y equals 1. Change it up. Get it so it says y equals, then use your slope intercept format. That's the y-intercept, then that's the slope. And that right there is a little note. We are skipping 5.7. All right. So there we go. That covers all of chapter 5, that's the end of it right there for us. We'll be reviewing in class. If you guys have questions, write those down. Ask me the questions in class. If not, I'll do some more example problems on the board. But remember, it's up to you guys. Ask those questions, take some ownership, and you guys will be just fine. All right, we'll see you in the next one.